First floor right here, the first floor, and then that kind of arching with it. No problem.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. By the way, Professor, the Zoom has a passcode, so that's why there's so few students, I think, right now.
Passcode.
Yeah, but a student answered on Piazza with the passcode.
Oh, I didn't know there was a passcode. Not working. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Hello, hello, testing. Hello, hello, testing. Okay, good. All right. There we go. All right, how are we doing? Why is this edit this meeting? Enable join host, mute, telephone, passcode. Oh, why is there a passcode? Well, I took out the password. I don't know why there was a passcode. There shouldn't be a passcode. All right. All right, let's see. How many are here? Okay, see what a few. It's recording. Okay. All right, can anybody see my screen here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. All right, let's see where we are. All right, so we are a little bit beyond the middle of the semester. Wow. Just completed 7 weeks together, right? So we have we're in our 8th week, and so yeah, we're gonna keep working more on React.js and HTML and CSS and JavaScript, which we have been you know, working on all throughout the semester. More of that, this week in particular, we're going to be introducing Redux is a technology that allows us to maintain state across the application. We'll see how we can maintain local state for a particular component or application-wide state. Also, from now on till the end of the semester, we're going to be focusing more on the project. We're going to be doing some prototyping, and there are going to be a couple of assignments that are project related. And the first thing, I want to make sure that everybody is in a group, that you have identified certain folks that you might want to work with for the remainder of the semester. We'll go over the requirements again, and where you can get a hold of some of the third-party APIs, which is one of the central requirements of the project. And yeah, we'll get some of that. We'll talk about that in more detail on Thursday. Okay, I will make available the exam answers so that everybody can take a look at it, and I'll start a thread on Piazza so that if you have any questions or any feedback, or if you want us to regrade any a particular question, if you think there was a syntax error or something like that, just let us know, that we can fix it for everybody else. Okay. Let's see. I think everybody took the exam. Looks like there was a little bit rough on Thursday to start off, but eventually, apparently, things did turn out okay. Let's see. Yeah, so we had introduced React. We already worked on a couple of that. The assignments, as you know, we moved the due dates 1 week later. And also we moved them to Sunday due dates, right? So yeah, this upcoming assignment that we're going to be talking later on Thursday, it'll be due a week from this Sunday, this coming Sunday. Right, so we'll talk about that on Thursday. So we'll introduce some of the topic that we'll need for that assignment today. We'll review it again on Thursday together when we review the assignment, and it'll be due a week from this coming Sunday. Let's see, I need to review the quizzes, make sure that they are still valid. I think so. Yeah, we do have a React quiz coming up later this week. So on Thursday, expect a short quiz at the beginning of the class to to evaluate your skills on React. No Redux. Redux will be later on quiz 5. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any questions? It looks like there's a couple questions in the chat. Hi, Professor. Would you unlock A7 tonight? I'm still tweaking it so that it's backwards compatible with the previous assignment. So it's not quite ready. So no, I'm not. I can't unlock it just yet. Would you be updating the DDL for A6 on Canvas? DDL due date? DDL? What's DDL? Sorry. Oh, deadline. Yes, right. A week later than it was there, but yes, I'll update it. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Let's see on the side. Yeah. Oh. Let me. What's this? Let me close that. Close that. WebDev tools. Okay, to do's. Okay. All right. Lectures. Okay, so let's talk about Redux. If there's no more questions, let's talk about Redux. So Redux is a library we're going to be using, and if you look it up, if you look up Redux React, you can read all about it here. Right, it's a library that we're going to be using for the remainder of the semester, and it's for managing application state. Okay, we're going to be talking about 2 different types of state. The state that you can maintain within a component, right? That, for instance, a component might be used for forms, right? That you're filling out a form, and you have a whole bunch of input fields, buttons, and whatnot, and that form is collecting all that information as you interact with that form, and it only lives within that component. But then you might have multiple forms, right? Or that data that you are typing in that form might be used or might be needed elsewhere in the application, right? And maybe in another component, right? So we need to think about data that is local to a component, but also data that is widely available throughout the entire application, right? So for the application level state, right, we're going to be using React Redux. Okay, for the state that is managed within a component, we're just going to be using just plain old state management in that already comes with React. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about state. All right, let's talk about state. Okay, so right now, let's do here in the lecture. And this is for week 7, say. So week 7. Week 7, right? Oh no, week 7 was last week we did the exam. Yeah, no, so let me change that. Is week 8. And so say we have a simple component. And we have just a hello component. Okay. And this component is a React component. So let's do an import React. And then you have maybe a component which says, const hello. And it's just a function. And maybe just returns h1 hello world. Okay. Let's first render this. And so this is export default hello. And let's see. And this is maybe in an app. Maybe say I have an app here. So let's create a JavaScript here. Here's my app. Right. And in the app, you have an import React, and you might import that hello component, right? You have a import hello, right, from the local hello here, right? And your app might do something like const app and returns something like h1 my app, right? And then you import the hello like that, something like that. Okay. App. Okay. And maybe hello, let's change this to h2. So just slightly smaller. Okay, so let's go back and try run this. Let me go to my index. Here's my index, and I already have an app here, but I don't. This is the default app. This is my default app, right? So I don't want that. Let me load that brand new app that I just created. Maybe I should give it a better name. Let me rename it. Say so I don't confuse it with this other app component, right? Let's Redux Examples. How's that? Okay, so Redux Examples. There we go. So we're gonna have a couple of Redux examples in here. Right. So in my index, let's load my Redux examples. Ooh, it looks like I have 2. Okay. Comma. And let's run this now. Let's see, it's loading, blah, blah. Okay, there's my app, and there's the hello world. All right. And maybe, okay, so we have the Redux example, and it's just loading my hello, which is rendering this. Everybody good? Okay. All right, so say I want to have the information or the data that is being rendered here, hello, be dynamic, right? And be maybe a variable that changes over time. Okay, and so maybe I could establish maybe a constant here, or the data that I'm rendering might be something like const the message, right? And the message is this string over here, like that, and then this would be that variable, like that. Okay, notice that there's no difference, right? There's no difference. Hello, just to make sure that this is actually working. There it is. So that I am changing as a variable. Okay, so as far as this is concerned, right, the data is contained within this component. Nowhere else anybody can see this value of the message, right? So what we'd like to be able to do, right, is separate the concerns of how data is rendered, which is this over here, how data is rendered, and we want to separate it from how the state or how the data evolves over time. Right now, the message is this, and this is the only data that is being rendered here. Okay, we want to separate that, and the reason is that the managing the data has completely different set of concerns of how it should be rendered, right? Rendering data or rendering content, has a completely different set of skills than how data is managed, right? Data, you need to be able to create data and update data and delete data and filter data, right? And find data and query it. You need to send it to the server. You need to get it from a database. So that is an entire set of skills, right? That it warrants just maybe an engineer just only doing that, right? Whereas rendering it, okay, it's a complete different set of skills, and of being able to lay it out and make it look pretty and establish CSS and all that. So that's a complete different set of skills, and we would like to be able to test them individually, right? And also the testing has its own set of skills. Okay, so how can we do this? How can we put this elsewhere? So one way, right, is that you just put it in a different file, right? You just put the data in a different file, but that's not going to help us because the file is going to be static, right? You won't be able to change the file. Well, I mean, I guess you could do file system IO, but that's not really what we want. We want to programmatically, as users interact with the application, right? We would like to be able to modify this data, right? So for instance, what we're going to do is we're going to use a technology called Redux, and Redux is going to allow us to do the following, right? We're going to be able to separate it and create a separate file. I'm going to call it the hello reducer, and we're going to put the data here. So we're going to take this, I'm going to put it here. Okay, I'm going to put it here, and because we want this data to evolve over time, right? Right now it's hello world. Maybe that's the beginning, right? The initial value, but it can change over time depending on as users click and drag and interact with the application. The state of the application changes over time. So meaning the state is not always going to be this constant, right? It's going to be calculated over time of what it is, right? Based on events and whatnot. Yes. So what we're going to do is that we're going to create a function, call it the hello reducer, which is going to return the data, right? And right now the data is going to be static. It's just going to return just message. Okay, but you understand that eventually this function can calculate what the current state is. Right now it's always returning the same information, just message. Okay, and I'm going to export default hello reducer. Okay. So this is no longer going to live here. It's no longer going to live here. So how do I get this message? Now, how do I get this message? How do I glue this? How do I glue this function returning this? I guess I could just import it and I'm done, right? I can import it, call the function, and I'm done, right? But that's not what we're going to do. what we're going to do is the following, right? We are going to do the following. Okay, we are going to import that. We are going to import that function here. Hello reducer. Because what happens here is that this data, right, is not only going to be used here, right? Because obviously it was only being used here in the hello, right? I mean, that's the example I'm giving you. But this data might be useful elsewhere, right? Not only in this component, right? And so we would like to have a mechanism that any component can ask, hey, what is the information for hello, right? And they can extract this information whenever they want it. Okay, and so that would create a means of components talking to each other, right? One component is generating data, putting it in this reducer somehow, right? And then others are extracting data from that reducer. Okay, so we have the reducer there. Very good. Now these reducers, these are functions, right? Are functions that are going to generate. They're going to dump the state that they're generating. They're going to dump it into a pot. All right, they're going to put it in one common place that then the rest of the application can then pick and choose what is it that they want to extract from this global state. Okay, so we're going to where it's going to be put is going to be called a store, a storage, or where like a central pot where all this goes in. Right, so we're going to import create store from Redux. So Redux, there it is. So create store is a function that allows us to initialize a store that can then be provided to the rest of the application, right? So the create store is going to allow us to create the store from the reducers. The reducers are going to dump all the data into this one store, right? So we're going to say cons, here's the store, and from the create store, from the reducers. Right now, we only have one reducer, but we can have many reducers. Each reducer presumably is going to be responsible for a particular component or particular screen. Okay, is something like message rendered multiple times within the current example? Render multiple times in the current example. Where is that? Is something like message rendered multiple times within this current example? I'm not sure what you mean. Why is it rendered multiple times? I'm not understanding why Redux is useful in this example. Yeah, it's the example is so simple that it might not be useful. It'll get more useful as we go. Basically what we're trying to do is that a reducer basically is going to play the role of a finite state machine, right? A finite state machine. If you've studied, I think you've seen that in algorithms. I forget where you see finite state machines. Allows us to create all the states that an application could be, right? And then all the events that allow you to transition between one state and the other. It's a very well set of states that it's a very well defined set of states that the application can be in, right? And the store is the current state of the application, right? The application can be in a state A, state B, state C, right? Okay, and the store shows the current state that the application is in, right? As calculated by the reducers, right? The reducers are going to calculate what the store is based on the events, based on the transition between the states, right? And they're going to come back with the state and they're going to dump it in the store. And then the store will be available all throughout the application so that they can pick and choose what to render, right? And let me show you how that is made available. All right, so the store needs to be made available to the rest of the application. Okay, let's take a look at how we do that. The way we do that is that we're going to wrap. Is there only one store for an application? Yes, there's only one store for the application. There can be many reducers, but one store. Okay, so let's create the way we're going to provide the store to the rest of the application is through a provider. The provider, which is part of the React Redux library, right, allows you to say, hey, the following store the following store is going to be made available to all the children in the body of the provider. So all these, any component inside of the provider is going to receive the store, and they can pick out and choose what they want to render from that store. Okay, for instance, the hello is now receiving the data that is being put in the store. What is the data that is being put in the store? Whatever this function returns. So this reducer is putting just this one string into the store, and the hello can pick and retrieve it. Okay, let me show you how you can retrieve it. Notice that it's waiting here for this message. Where am I going to get this message? Well, we're going to have to pick out the information from that store. How do I get it from the store? As follows. We are going to use why is it not? Use selector. Yeah. Redux. How come? Did not see it? Yeah. Huh. Should have grabbed it automatically. I don't know why I wasn't selecting. Okay, so what the way we're going to grab what we want from the store so we can render it here, we want to retrieve the message. From where? From the hello reducer is putting it in the store. And we use the selector is going to call us. We're going to register here. What is it that we want to pick out, right? And it's the state. I think it's state. I think. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Hello world. There we go. See that? So basically, the selector is a function. It's just a function that picks out what it is that we want to retrieve from the store. Right now, there's only one thing in the store, right? Is this one string, right? That the function is putting, right? It's returning this. This ends up in the store. The only thing in the store right now is what this guy put in the store, and then we can, with the use selector, we can say, okay, well, send me. Here's a function where you can give me everything that is in the store, and then I can pick out what I want. Right now, there's only one thing, is that one string, right? And that's what we are retrieving. It's just returning whatever comes, it's in the store already, and we are picking out the data that is already there, which is the only thing there is the message, and that's what this returns, is the one message, and it makes it into there. Okay, it's a little contrived. Let me move it a notch, a little more complicated, so that you can see the value of what we're doing here. Right? Let's do something a little more interesting. Let's see. We're going to create here a counter. Let's go to counter with two buttons, right? That if you click on plus, the counter will go up, and if you click on minus, the counter will go down. Okay, right? Something simple, right? So import React, and this is a const counter. There's a function, and we're going to return let's say div, and this will be h2 count is equal to, and we're going to pick out some count, right? Maybe some constant here, const count. Right now is 1, 2, 3, and we're going to pick it out and say right here 1, 2, 3. Okay. And later on, we'll see how we can create a button here. We'll create a button with plus and a button with minus. Okay. And we'll see how we can change the state of this. All right. But first of all, let's see if we can retrieve this information. Right now, I hard coded it. Right, but let's see if we can retrieve it from a reducer, right, from the state, right, a global state, right? So this would be, I can say export default counter. Okay. All right, so let's put it in the example. Let's put it over here, maybe counter. And there's my counter, and there's the plus and minus, right? Right now it's not doing anything. But what we're trying to do is to, okay, what's the purpose of the 1, 2, 3 brackets again? 1, 2, 3 brackets. Oh, I'm sorry, count. That's what I meant. That's what I meant, sorry. There we go, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we want to put this in a reducer. So let's create a reducer again, right? So this is JavaScript. This will be counter reducer. And right now the only information in there, const count. We can initialize it to something else, right? And we're going to have a function here. We're going to call it counter reducer. And right now it's just going to return the hard-coded value of the count. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did before, but for the count. And then we want to see how we can change the state. You know, this could be a count going up and down. It could be an account where has a balance, right? And you can deposit and withdraw, and your balance goes up every time you deposit, or it goes down as you withdraw. So the state of the balance is changing. I'm here. I have a simpler example as a count, right? Counter. So export default counter reducer. Okay, so that's the state right now, and right now it's hard coded. We need to be able to change it, and we'll see that in a minute. And so back in Redux examples, we're gonna now we have two reducers. Now we have the hello reducer, but now we're gonna have the counter reducer too. Counter reducer. Okay, so let's see. I think the brackets are used to switch from writing JSX. Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So now we have two reducers, both of them generating data, right? One is generating a string, the other was generating the count of a counter. And they all need to be combined into one single reducer, mega reducer, right? That is responsible for maintaining the overall state of the application, right? One of them might be, one of the reducers might be dealing with one screen of a form that you're filling out, right? Whereas another reducer might be for a different screen dealing with another set of forms, right? And each one with their own state, and you want all this state to fall, make its way into one global application level state, right? That you could see it all across the application, right? Where you might have a screen that has the shopping cart, another screen that has the billing information, another screen that has shipping information, right? Each one with its own set of forms and fill out and whatnot and drop downs, and all this information needs to go into one single big store, right? And the reducers are the ones who are keeping track of all this stuff into one single place. Okay, so again, we're not there yet, so we're doing some really trivial examples, right? So anyway, so we have the counter. So these two now need to be combined. They're all basically independent. We need to combine them into one big reducer. So let's do that. So this would be const main reducer, right? What we're going to do is that we're going to combine the reducers. Notice that there it is. Combine reducers is from Redux. Okay, and this takes a map that allows you to combine anything you want, right? So for instance, I'm going to put the hello, okay, the reducer, and the other one is count in the count reducer. So we're creating a map so that each one of them will have its own namespace, right? So everything that one of the reducers is doing is going to be available through in count, or the other one is going to be available through hello. Okay. Yeah, so now the main reducer can be used as the main reducer here, as opposed to just the hello reducer. We're going to pass the main reducer. It's going to pass all the information into one store, which can then be retrieved, picked out from each one of the components. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's breaking, I think it's breaking because before we only had the hello reducer. Okay, we only had the hello reducer. And so the hello, this hello was retrieving the one state, which was that one string. Now that information is under a particular map, under a particular subset, right? Now it's sharing the state with another reducer as well that is pumping data into that one store. So we have to pick out now under now it's not on the top level state. Now it's under a substate, right? Which I think we called it hello, a substate. So this would be state.hello. There it is. So now now it works again. Whereas the counter, right, reducer is generating the data, putting in count, and so now the counter component, right, can pick out this count, not this hard-coded value, but pick it out from the master state, right, of the main state, using the use selector function. We get the state, and the state contains both the hello stuff and contains the counter stuff, but we're only interested in the counter. Oh, count, I think we called it count. And notice that it displays 234. See that? Meaning that if I change the state, right, to be 345, notice that it makes it down to the component. We pick it out and it's rendered right there. See that? Okay. All right. So this is a little bit too easy. Let's make it a little more interesting. What about modifying the state? Right. We saw that, you know, we definitely can extract state information, right? We know how to do that. We can extract data, but what about mutating or modifying this state over time, right? For instance, I want to click the button, right? And the counter should go up or down or whatnot, right? So how do we do that? So also, okay, so let me check this out, right? I did say, right, that here we're extracting the state, right, of the hello, but everything's available. Everything's available here. Even the count is available everywhere, right? I can retrieve the count if I pick, you know, if I just say extract from the state the count. Oops. Okay, I can say here's the message, and I can put the count here. There it is. See that? So the state now is global and can be retrieved from any one component, right? Just by picking and choosing. Now, you know, it used to be that if you wanted data to flow in a particular way, you had to specify the layout of the page so that, you know, the parent that had the state had to share the data with the child. Right now, you don't have that dependency, right? You can put them anywhere you want, and you can just pick out what information you want from the main state, right? Very, very powerful. Okay, so let's see how do we change this, right? So how do we do that? In the counter, the way we can handle state, right, is that we can handle an event handler. We can assign an event handler such as, you know, on click. So on click says, you know, if this button is clicked, then you can perhaps, you know, have a function that handles this, right? So for instance, I could have a function here, const plus is a function that maybe does just an alert and says plus, right? And then I can put it in here, right? And I have a reference to that function, right? That is going to be invoked if I click on that plus. Let's see if that's true. So I click on this plus. Notice that there it is, right? The alert pops up. I can have an equivalent here for minus, right? And I can assign the event handler here on click minus. So if I have a minus, there it is. I have minus or plus. There it is. Okay. All right. I can maybe have these next to each other. There we go. All right, so what is it that we want to happen? What is it that we want to happen if we click on a plus? What we want to do is tell the counter reducer that the count should go up, right? So we want to go to the count reducer and say, hey, count reducer, I want to increment this count +1, -1, and whatnot. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, to do that, we are going to use what is called a dispatcher, an event dispatcher, right? That is going to send an event, an action, right, to our reducer. And the reducer is going to implement a little state machine, right? Finite state machine that is going to identify several states. Right now, we only have one state. The count is 3, 4, 5, and that's it. That's the only state. It's fixed. But now we want to, depending on events, we like to be able to transition between different states. Okay, so for instance, we can say const dispatcher or dispatch, use dispatch. Dispatch is a function, also same thing from the Redux, React Redux, right? That is going to allow us to invoke this reducer, this function. Now it's going to allow us to invoke and send it an event. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we're going to say plus, instead of the alert, we're going to say dispatch. Now, this dispatch is dispatch takes at least one argument, right? You have to tell me what is the event, what happened, right? Because I'm going to notify the reducers, right? And they're going to have to handle it, right? So we're going to create an action object, and then we're going to pass that object right here. And the action is going to tell me what happened, right? And the way we tell it what happened is through a property called type. And this type is going to be some descriptive event name, right? For instance, counter plus, right? Or increment counter. Increment counter. Okay, doesn't matter, right? As long as you're consistent. In the minus, it'll be decrement counter. Right. Now, in both cases, what dispatch does, it invokes all the reducers. It calls every single reducer to see if this type of event is relevant to them. It's going to call my hello reducer and says, hey, do you know what to do with this event? And the hello reducer says, I don't know. I don't deal with counters, so it's just going to ignore it, right? Whereas the counter reducer is going to say, yeah, I know what to do, right? Let me handle it. Okay. And just to illustrate this, right, here's the hello reducer. If we do a console log hello reducer, and if we go to the counter reducer, and we also put just to show, there you go. Just to show you, if we inspect, and we look at the console. Okay, if I do a plus, notice that both reducers are invoked. See that? Both of them are invoked. A minus, notice that both of them are invoked. See that? All right, so all the reducers are invoked, and what they receive, they all receive two arguments, right? They're being invoked. They'll receive two arguments. One is the current state, and the other is the action object that I sent over, right? So if I grab this and I put it in the hello, right, we can display here the state and the action for both. Well, it's going to be the same, right? So if I do plus or minus here, let me make this a little bigger. Oh, it's not this. Why isn't it making it bigger? Ah. Reset. Why is it? Oh, because I have this. Okay, there we go. So I say plus, notice that the hello world, hello reducer is displaying the hello world, the type increment counter. See that? Whereas the counter reducer, notice that it's getting the same type, right? The same type. It has the previous state of 345, has a previous state of 345, and also the action object, which is increment counter. Okay, so the hello reducer has the state of the string, which is hello world string, and it's getting the same action in both cases, the same type, but neither one of them knows what to do with it. Right? We haven't decided what to do. But notice that we have the previous state or the current state. So what we could do, we could calculate a new state, right? That is either it goes up or down based on this. If it's an increment counter, then we know that the new state should be the old state plus 1. And if we know if it's decrement state, then it means that it should be whatever the previous state was minus 1, right? Right. So notice if I say minus, it says decrement counter, or say plus, it says increment counter. So in the counter, I could put the following logic. I could say, if, right, the action dot type, right, is equal increment counter, right, then the new state, I can say return count. Well, actually, the state is the current state is the current count, right? Notice that it is 345. See that? I'm going to return the current state plus 1. Else, right? Else, if the action dot type is instead decrement counter, then I'm going to return the old state minus 1. And by default, I'm just going to return the count, the current count. If it's neither one of them, I'm just going to keep the same state as I was, right? The state is, or I'll just return state. There we go. And I can initialize the state to be count. Okay, let's see. Notice if I say plus, notice that indeed that state is changing. See that? And notice that it's changing for everybody. Even in the hello world, it's being notified that the state's change and that it should be updated. So it trickles down, right, to all the components, right, who are rendering this state are being notified, right, that the state has changed and they should be re-updated, right, everywhere in the application, right, all throughout. Okay, see that? Now the way I wrote it here is a little messy, right? But it is a finite state machine, right? It is a very simple finite state machine. Let's remove the console here. Made it maybe a little better way of reading this is that instead we do a switch here. We do a switch, right? And this would be kind of like a case, right? This would be a case. And then we return this break, right? Whereas this is another case. It'd be case return that break. And then a default way we return the state. Okay, that's a little better. That's a little cleaner, right? So it's basically a finite state machine that the states can be either that you're incrementing the counter, you're decrementing the counter, right? And it changes either going up or down, right? So this still works. Everybody, did that make sense? All right. I know this is a little bit too much. This only becomes familiar when you practice it several times, right? So I'm going to practice it one more time with a little bit harder example, right? I'm just trying to make it just a little bit harder, but but I want you to just follow along. What are all the moving parts here, right? It's you have a reducer, which is calculating the state, the current state. Okay, it's handling events as well that allow the finite state machine to transition from one state to the next. Okay, and then you have on the component, you have the components extracting the pieces of that state, right, that they want for rendering. Right. So let's do one more. Let's create a simple account that we can deposit and withdraw, right? And that will also gives us a chance to play around with a balance, like a little form, right? That we can interact with that input field, right? So let's do that. Let's create a script here. It will be account or bank account. Right, so we're going to have React here, and const bank account, and we're going to return bank account, and we have a balance, right? We have a balance, and we have a balance of 1, 2, 3. Oops, and then those will be H3 balance is balance. Okay, and let's see if we can render this right here. Say bank account. Oh, I don't think I exported it. Export default bank account. Import. Okay, let's see. There we go. Bank account just has 123. All right. All right. So let's now have an input field here that allows us to deposit into that bank account, right? So for instance, I have maybe an input field. Transaction amount, or maybe just amount. Okay, amount, right? And then maybe we can have a button that says deposit, and the other one is withdraw. Okay, all right. So first of all, we've never worked with input fields, right? And so how do we work with input fields first, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to maintain local state of this input field, right? If you have a form, the best thing to do is to first maintain that state locally in your component, not let anybody know, not use wide application-wide state, right? We're not going to use the Redux for this, right? We're going to have everything local in our little world, and then once you deposit or withdraw, then we notify the rest of the world of what happened. Okay, so let's do that. So what we're going to do is that we're going to declare here. We're going to declare a variable, and we're going to need a mechanism to be able to modify the variable balance here locally in my little local world, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to be using import use state, state from. I guess we could put it here, right? There we go, like that. It's just part of the standard React. Okay. And the way it works here is that you put this in an array like that. You say, put it in an array. It's going to have a variable, the state variable, and you're going to have a mutator, a function that you can then use to change this locally in the component. So we're going to have a set balance. Okay, and that's going to be equal to use state is going to initialize It's going to initialize the value of this variable, and we're going to say initialize to 321, right? And there it is, still 321. Okay. Okay. All right, so that's the balance. What about the amount? We also need an amount. We need to maintain we need a variable that we can type here, type something, right? And then once we do a withdrawal deposit, it'll update the balance, right? We'll update the balance. So we'll need a variable amount and a set amount, and we'll initialize to 0. Okay, which we're not displaying anywhere. So what we're going to do is that we're going to display it in the input field. We'll say that the value of this input field is the amount, right? Is 0, that amount that I'm going to manipulate. And as I type, I might also say that the type of this input field is that it's a number. Make sure that you can't type anything other than a number. Okay, there we go. See, it's a number. And as I type, right, notice that nothing's happening. Notice that it won't let me type anything. See that? Because the value is tied now. It's tied to this variable, and the only way to change the value would be to change the amount. So how do we change the amount if it's not letting me type? Okay. So what we're going to do is that we're going to listen for changes in the input field, and we're going to accumulate those changes into the amount, right? So the way we do that is we say, on change, right? If the value as you type changes, we're going to call the set amount. We're going to call the set amount, and what value are we going to give it? What value are we going to give it? Well, actually, let me before I do that, I'm gonna create a function first. It's gonna handle amount change, right? It's a function, and right now, as it changes, we're going to we're going to call this as it changes, as you type, you're going to call this, right? So notice that every time I let me clear that, right? Every time I type anything, notice that it calls that function. So it sees that it's changing, right? And it's invoking it, right? But it's not doing anything. Well, what happens here is that it passes what happened in an event object, right? Which represents, included in there is the timestamp when I press the button, the actual keystroke that I typed. Okay, everything's in there, right? The value, the actual value, right, is in the event target value. Right, the target is the input field. Right, so event target is the input field, and that input field has an attribute called value, which is the actual value of the latest keystroke, right? All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to change the amount to be this new value. So we say call set amount new value. Okay, now we can type all we want. See that? And this value, this amount, right, can be rendered anywhere, right? I can render it down here. As I type, notice that it renders it, right? I can put it anywhere I want. I can put it, here. Right. So as I type, notice that it's rendering right next to the bank account, right? I mean, not that I want to do that, but right, it's available anywhere I want to render it, and I'm changing it. I'm changing that value. So I have the value, right? I have the new value. Now we want to change the deposit. I want to change the deposit, right? I'm sorry. I want to change the balance based on this transaction, right? And this balance, right? This amount that I'm either depositing or withdrawing, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to create two functions that can handle the clicks on these things. We say const deposit click handler, right? And we're going to have a const withdraw click handler, right? And just to see if this works, console log. Okay, and have another console here. And so we're going to tie that to these, right? We're going to say on click, I'm going to call deposit click handler, and on click withdraw click handler. Let's see if it works. You notice that every time I click the deposit, that's working. Withdraw is also working. Deposit. I also have here the available, the amount that I'm depositing, right? I can say the amount. I can say, see what the amount is. Right. So so if I have that deposit, notice that it displays whatever amount I have in there, right? If I have 1, 2, 3, and I say deposit, notice that it says deposit 1, 2, 3. See that? Or withdraw 1, 2, 3. See that? For creating functions that the component calls for rendering, is it better practice to define them inside or outside the component function? Yeah. So if this is something that only the component internal only cares, right? It's better to be here and not, notify anyone else, right? You should try as much as possible to reduce your context as much as possible, if available, right? But for instance, if I want this balance of this account to be rendered elsewhere, right, then I would have to somehow copy this local state, right, into a global state, right? And we'll see how to do that in a minute. All right, so okay, so let's see. So I can change the amount. I can change the balance now, right? Because I have the amount. I can say that I can change the deposit. I'm sorry, the balance. I can change the balance to be what? If it's a deposit, it'll be the balance, right, plus amount, or it'll be, the withdrawal is the balance minus the amount. See that? Okay, so let's see if I deposit. Notice that, oh, see what's happening? It's doing string concatenation, right? It's making this as a string concatenation as opposed to as a arithmetic addition. Okay. Yeah, so we need to make sure that all these values are all integers, right? And not, they're numbers and not strings. Yeah, so right, this is a string here, right? So I'm going to convert that into an integer. So I'm going to say parse int. That's an int. And new blah 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 blah, new value, set amount. So this is definitely an amount. Balance is definitely an integer. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so we're gonna amount is 12, deposit. Okay. Right now it's working, right? Withdraw. Okay, there we go. So it is working. So all this is happening locally. Notice that no other place in the application do we have this information, right? And what if we want to tie this and make it available to the rest of the application? How would we do that? Okay, well, to do that, we would need a reducer. We would need a bank account reducer, right? So this would be bank account reducer. And this reducer can have an object, right? Can say const the or bank account could be an object. Up to this point right now, we've been doing just numbers, and we have been doing strings. It could be an entire object, right? So it could have the balance, right? It could have the name of the account, Alice. Okay. Date opened. Oh, that's the future, right? Okay. So that could be the initial state, right? And I can say const bank account reducer is state action. And the state could be, the initial state would be the bank account. That's initial state. And here would be all the things that we could do to that bank account, right? We could say, switch the action type. And these would be all the types of events that an account would be aware of, right? What could we do? Well, we could deposit, right? Break. We could withdraw. Okay. And or if it's none of the state transitions that I'm aware of, by default, I'm always going to return the current state. Right. So that's a best practice, right? You should always have a default return state. Meaning if none of the events, if I have a states, right, that I can transition between the different states, but I can't find the events that allow me to transition, I'm just going to stay in the same state. Right? I'm not going to move. Right. And that's what this says, right? But if it's a deposit, what we're going to do, we're going to change the state, right? We're going to change the state. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. We'll do it in a minute. For now, let's tie this to what we have already, right? We can have we're going to export default bank account reducer. And we'll go to the Redux examples. We're going to load that reducer. Import bank account reducer. And we're going to put it in bank or account. This is bank account reducer. So now, right, back in my bank account, what I could do here is that I can, now the initial value here, right, the initial value, I can grab it from the state, right, that it's trickling down for everybody, right? I can say const let's see, I'm going to do use selector. Okay, I'm going to grab it from the state, and I'm going to say state.account, right? Okay, so I can have here const account. All right. All right, and for instance, now here instead of bank account, for I could say, account.name, right? Presumably for Alice, there it is. So I'm retrieving from the account object, and I could initialize the state of the balance instead of being 321. What do we have in the reducer? We have well, let's start off with something more like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We can say that the initial state of the balance could be from the account balance. Okay. So there it is. So now we have a balance of 124 read from the state, read from the reducer. Now this set amount, right? This set amount was when we were typing at the input field. Here, the balance, this is the local copy of the balance. This is a local copy of the balance. What we're going to do is that we're not going to change it from here because what is the balance now? Now no longer is the balance, this local state that only I care about. Now I've made it something more than just me. Right now my balance is really where's it coming from? It's coming from the account read from above me, right? So I need to notify, right? So that the global balance changes, and then that will trickle down to me through the selector, right? I'll get back the account, I'll reinitialize the balance, and it'll redisplay, right? So let's do that. Let's grab a dispatcher, right? Let's grab a dispatcher. Dispatch. Use dispatch. Okay, and so now in this withdrawal, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to notify dispatch. I'm going to notify with an action object of type deposit, right? And whereas this one down here with a withdraw, I'm going to type withdraw. Okay, so that is gonna come in here and do whatever I have here. Right now, it's not doing anything. For now, let's do a console log bank account reducer, deposit, and here would be withdraw, right? Let's see. Right, so if I have deposit, oops, error while calling blah 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 blah, action of type deposits slice reducer for key account. Deposit account. Where's withdraw? Dispatch deposit. What does it say? What's it complaining about? Uncalled when called with an action deposit the slice reduce blah 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 blah. Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, it's coming in here. It's coming in here, and I'm not returning anything. I'm not returning anything, right? It says, hey, I came in here for you to generate a state. I'm in there, but you never generate a state, right? So for now, I'm just going to keep it as I'm just going to return the old state. There we go. For now, I'm not going to change the state. I just want to show you that we're going in there. So deposit, there it is. See that? Bank account deposit or withdraw. There we go. Bank account withdraw. So we are going in there. And what we need to do, right, is change the balance depending on the amount that we're depositing. But we don't have that information. We don't have the amount here. So what we could do is pass the amount here as part of the dispatch. Right? We can say amount. We can pass the amount. Right? Do the same thing here. We can pass the amount. Okay. So that now in the reducer, we're going to have presumably the amount as well. I can say action the amount. Amount. Okay. So if this is deposit, there it is. See that? I'm depositing 123. 321, I'm withdrawing in 321. See that? So I am able to pass the information in there, right, into the reducer. And so now we can, having that information, I have the current state, which has the current balance. I have the amount. I can generate a brand new state, right, with the new balance. Right. So what is the new state? What is this new state? The new state will be the old state, but we're only going to change the balance. Right. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to copy the old state. So I'm going to return a JSON object that is going to contain a copy of the old state, but I am going to override the balance, right, to be the old balance the old balance plus the action amount. Okay. And same thing with this one over here. We're going to copy the old state, but I'm going to update the balance so that the balance is going to be whatever the balance was minus the amount that I'm passing in the action. Okay. Right. So when this runs in the bank account, right, the selector is going to retrieve this account, and the account is going to have a balance, which is going to update the balance, but it's now fighting with this because now I'm trying to update the balance two different ways, right? With this setters here, but also from the state that's coming from above. So it's gonna be inconsistent. So I'm going to rely always for the balance. I'm going to rely on the global state. Okay. So yeah, let's see. I can deposit. Oops. Why are you not changing? Selector account. Use selector. Dispatch balance. Draw state. Why are you not changing? Console.log the account. And let's remove some of these console logs because it's very hard to see what's going on here. And the reducer as well, I have a whole bunch of logs here. Okay, there you go. Refresh 1 to 4. Deposit. Oh yeah, so the balance is updating. The balance is updating. Why are you not updating? Oh, okay. Yes. I also need use effect. I didn't want to get into use effect. Let's see. Use effect. Set balance. Account balance. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So use effect. So use effect is used for when there's a change that is a side effect. Right? That's why it's called use effect. When there's a side effect, the change of state, right, and you want to re-update the balance. So this use state only runs the first time around. This only executes the very first time for initializing the value and declaring the balance in the set balance. Don't you need to use state anymore for balance? No, it's only declared once just to initialize what the balance is at first, and to declare the set balance mutator. But any side effect, right, as the state changes, right, is the use of C effect. This hooks? Yes, these are all hooks. These are all hooks. These are the hooks that are come out of the box with React. And these are hooks that allow you to interact with Redux, right? Anyway, so yeah, there you have it. So that's another example. Let's see, do we have time for another one? I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another one. This one's going to be a little more involved. Let's see, you have a question. It says, when using Redux, is use state oops, oh crap. Okay. All right. When using Redux, is use state used just for rendering state rather than what? Rather than what? When using Redux, is use state, or why are we using use state? Yeah, so state and so use state and use effect are strictly for local state, right? If you have a form and you're managing that form, and you don't necessarily want to spread it out, right? If you want to spread it and share it across to other components, right, you have to use Redux hooks, right, to interact with the application level state. Okay, so notice that that's pretty cool, because any other place, right? Say I am it's available everywhere. If I go to the counter and I want to get a hold of the account, I can, right? I can pull out anything from the state. Right? I can pull out the account, and so the counter, right? I can put the account name. So in the counter, right? It's available everywhere, right? And regardless of what the layout of the application is. So basically, we have broken off, how do you manage state and how do you manage rendering in two different concerns, right? Anyway, let me give you yet another example. This one's going to be a little more involved. Let's do a to-do list. Say you have a to-do, right? You have a const import React from React. So say you have a to-do or to-dos. Return, and this would be maybe H2 to-dos. Let me refactor this and rename it to to-dos. Okay. And we're going to export this, export default to-dos. And in the Redux example, I'm just going to render it right there. To-dos. Yeah, okay. All right. So there we have. So we have to-dos. There we go. Okay. So if we didn't, okay, why is there local state anymore for balance? I mean, that is true. I mean, you could use just global balance and that's it, right? Only that. Now the problem is that you don't want to have to send every single keystroke to the global global state, because again, every time you send a dispatch and an action for every single keystroke, all the reducers are going to be notified, right? The entire application is going to know, and that's unnecessary, right? That if you have 10 reducers, all 10 reducers will be invoked, right? Only one of them is going to say, it's for me, right? So whenever you can create a local state, right, that is only dealing with that one particular context, right, with that one screen, without bothering all the other ones, right? You don't need to do that. But you are only influencing amount of keystrokes. But you are only influencing amount of keystrokes. Yes, of course. Yeah, because I have the on change, right, is not being notified everywhere else. Correct. Yes. So yeah, so what we try to do is reduce the context as much as we can, unless we need to go outside the component, then we put it in the global state using reducers. Okay. All right. So let me create a reducer here for my to-do. So this would be to-dos reducer. And so let's say we have here const. The data could be an array, right? So the best practice is to use both. Yes, right. So and only notify the global state once the local state is settled, right? Because in the local state you might want to be doing validation, right? You might be highlighting things. You might be having local dependencies between fields, right? Of which the reducers and the global state might not even care, right? So once you're done and you're validated and you say save, then you can grab the final state, right, and then copy it onto the global state. Will component re-render when global state? Yes, yeah. Every time you return and you from the if the state changes, if the state doesn't change, then no, there's no re-rendering. If the state is changed and put back in the store, what the store does is that it compares the old state with the new state. If there is a change, then it tells the components to re-render. Otherwise, if the state doesn't change, it does not notify the components to re-render. The component re-render, yes. Yeah. All right, so here's we have the data, and we have the to-do, and this might be an ID, and then we have the what is that we're doing, and walk dogs, and are we done? False. Okay, and so walk dogs, and maybe this is another one. So we're gonna buy milk. Okay, and so and this information might live in a separate file, which you can import, which is perfectly fine, right? So let's create a reducer. We're going to say const to-dos reducer, right? We have the initial state is this with this data and action, which doesn't have yet anything. Okay, and there we go. So we're going to have a switch, and we're going to have the action type, and we could do all sorts of things, right? For we can create a to-do, right? Something like create to-do. Break. We can maybe do a delete a to-do. I'm going to break. Or we're going to maybe update a to-do. So all the CRUD operations would be here, right? And we're going to well, create, delete, update. I think that's it. And by default, we're just going to return the state. Okay. Say return state. All right. We're going to export this as a default to-dos. There we go. All right. So we're going to bring it in here. The other additional reducer. Say import the to-dos reducer, and we're going to combine it. And say to-dos colon to-dos reducer. Okay. All right. All right. Excellent. So what we're going to do here is the to-dos. We're going to grab the to-dos, right, from the, say, cons to-dos. We're going to grab it from the use, what was it? Use selector state. And this would be state.todos, which is going to be that array, right? That array which we can iterate over and say ul a class, and this would be something like a lists group. There you go, and ul. And then we can iterate over the to-dos, something like to-dos.map, and this would be to-do. And we're going to return li class. And this will be the to-do, list group item. And we're going to render the to-do.do. To-dos reducer can't resolve to-dos reducer. Oh, did I load it wrong? To-dos reducer. Reduce can't resolve, and module not found. Can't resolve to-dos reducer. To-dos reducer. Did I not export it? Easily blah 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 blah. Data. State equal data.
Professor, the extension is .ts, I guess, for this file, if you can see.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Refactor. Okay, let's see. There we go. There we go. So walk dogs and buy milk, right? So it is coming back. Very good. All right. So how do we do some of the simple stuff? Let's do something really, really simple. Let's say in the to-dos here, let's add a plus here. Create, right? And oops. And we say const create click handler. Right. So if we click on this, we're going to say on click, create click handler. All right. And what we're going to do, we need to dispatch the event to the finite state machine, right? So we'll need a dispatcher. So we're going to grab the dispatcher. So dispatch, use dispatch. So we're going to dispatch. I'm going to send an action of type create to do. All right, just that, just create to do. And what is that going to do? Right, that's going to call our reducer. I'm going to call our reducer here in this create to do. And so how to create it to do? What we're going to do is that we're going to say that our new array, our new state. Notice the state is just this, right? We're going to copy over the old data, and we're going to append a new to do at the bottom of that array, right? We can say copy the old state, which is the old array, and at the bottom we're going to create a new object. At the bottom we're going to say that going to have a new ID, right? The new ID can be some random. You say new date, get timestamp, get the time. So that's the milliseconds, and maybe we can append it to an empty string so that it becomes a string and not a number. The do is, maybe this could say new to do, and done is false. So this is appending a brand new object at the bottom of an array, which is going to contain where the current state is, which is the array. Okay. All right. So let's see if we click on create, notice that indeed it is appending to that array, right, and adding there. See that? So there's a question that says, will the component re-render when global? Yeah. Okay. All right. Did that make sense? Yeah. How about deleting a to do, right? So for instance, each to do maybe can have a button that deletes the array, right? And so this delete could have, when we click on it, we can have a, we have a delete click handler, right? And we're going to dispatch a delete to do. Okay. And so we're going to do a on click. We're going to call what? We're going to call a delete click handler. We're going to call that, right? Now, there's something that we need to do here, right? It says we don't know which one are we deleting, right? We need to know, we either have to do it by ID, or we need to pass the original object that was used to render this particular one, like this to do, right? Something like this, where we can pass the to do here. See that? Careful. If you do that, you're going to go into an infinite loop, right? Careful, right? If the event handler, you need to pass something to the event handler like we do now here. If you don't have to pass anything, it's just, you can just refer to the function that is going to be invoked. But if you have to pass an argument, you have to wrap it inside of a function like that, right? And then you can pass in whatever you want to pass. Okay. So now we're passing, this is the to do, That is the to do that we want to delete, and we're going to pass it to the dispatcher so that it knows which one to remove from the array. So the to do is the to do. Yes. Remember, there's a syntax for that, right? That you can collapse that into a single identifier, right? So it's just to do, right? So that to do means that you have the property and the value the same name, right? So it's a best practice to collapse that. So now, right, in the delete to do here, we have the to do. Now we need to remove that from the old array. So we have to say that we're going to return what? What we're going to do is that we're going to filter out that to do, right? The new array is basically the old array minus that to do, right? So what we're going to do is that's a filter. That's what the filter does, right? We're going to say, take the old state, which is the array, and we're going to filter, right? So we're iterating. Now we're iterating. And let's see which one do we keep. We keep the ones where the to do that we're iterating over is not the to do that we're deleting, right? So we're going to skip over the one that we are deleting, right? So here are all the to dos as we're iterating. So if the one that I'm passing you in the action that to do is not this one, then I want it. Otherwise, I don't want it. All right, so the to do is not the action that to do. I want to keep it. Right, and so this comes back with an array minus that one to do. Okay, so let's create a couple. So let's see, I can delete this one. See that? I'm deleting that one. Delete, delete, delete. So that works. Okay. In this case, for to do, it makes sense not to use local state. Well, we might want some local state, like for instance, for an input field, if we want to type in the actual information here, right? Like in an input field, for that, yes, we would want local state, right? That there's no need to notify anybody about me typing every single keystroke, right? But the overall list of the to-dos, that might be something that we do want to notify. And again, it's up to you, right? What is local and what is global? That's definitely it's an architecture, a design decision of how much do we want to notify everybody of every single keystroke, every single mouse movement, maybe not, right? And how much you want to keep it concentrated here as much as or notify everyone else. So editing the value without a save option would be done for local save. Yes, exactly. So yeah, let's do that. Let's for instance, here you might have a const the text, right? So say the title of the of what is it that you want to do. Let's keep it in a local or in a local variable. So our form elements, the main use case for local say, yes, absolutely. Yep. So we'll do a to do text, and then we'll have a set to do text. And so you will do a use state, and actually, I'll actually call it to do, set to do. So like an actual object that has everything you might need. You might have the do text, right, which is empty and done false, right? And oops, use state is not defined. Oh, use state is from React, so we'll need to load that. So use state, and so we'll have an input field here, maybe right below this button or right above it. Input type text. Then we have the value will be the to do dot do. Okay, so this, and right now is we'll see default or whatever is default, right? Okay. All right, so what we want to do here is that as we are, when we click on the handler, as we type, we're going to say, on change, on change, we're going to have the event, and we're going to set the to do to be the do is going to be the event dot target dot value. All right. Plus I'll need the done, right? Well, whatever the state was, whatever the state, I'm going to change only the do. So what if the done was false? I want to keep it false, right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to first copy the old to do, and I'm going to override the do, right, with the value that I'm typing. Right. So now I should be able to type. There we go. Right. And now when I click on the create click event, I can now pass a to do. And this to do will be this global to do over here. See that? Not this over here is the local variable to do that I'm passing as an argument. Whereas here, this to do is this local variable that is a state variable over here. See that? Okay, so now in the dispatch for the create handler, right here in the create, instead of having this new to do here, right, I can just say what? I can just say, I can I can override this. I can say I'm just going to copy over. I'm going to copy the action to do, which includes the do attribute and the done too, right? I'm just going to copy which includes the do and the done, right? That I'm editing with a local variable over there, right? So let's do that. So create, there we go. See that? I have it right there. Do office hours, right? Create. There we go. See that we have the office hours and we can add that in there. All right. This could be a stretch. Say the to-dos are stored externally and accessed via an API, which we will do starting next week. We'll start playing around with that. Is it a best practice to put async API updates in the to-do reducer? Not in the reducer. No, absolutely not in the reducer. We'll handle that. What we'll do is in the what will happen here is that the create event handler will notify the server. The server will come back, right, using async, and then we will call dispatch, right, as a result from the server saying, "Yep, it's good. I saved the data into the database. I've acknowledged," and depending on whether we have got an error or an acknowledgement, then we will go on and copy that state into the reducer. Okay, but yeah, I think, is that next week? I think that's next week. We'll play around with that. Yeah, exactly. That's right here. Node client, REST controllers. Yeah, we're going to do that next week. Okay. All right. I think that's all I had for you today. I'll share with you this in the code repository, so you can take a look at it. We will be looking at the assignment on Thursday. Based on all this that we've been playing around with today, right? We will revisit this in the assignment so that you can get going with it. All right. All right, that's all I have for you. Let's let me do that. Let me open the Canvas. Can I have questions? I have questions regarding A6. When is A6 due? When is A6 due? I think this Sunday, no? No, A6 is due this Sunday. A7 is due next Sunday. Not this past Sunday, no. Yeah, so let me see. What am I I'm going to open up the midterm exam for everybody so that you can take a look at it. Edit. So this is let students see the quiz and the answers. Save, and let me do the same thing for graduate folks. 610. Oh, that's not it. Allow students to see and the correct answers. All right, excellent. All right.
Hi, Professor.
Yes.
Sorry, I just need some help with my homework 6. I'm having some trouble with rendering the image. And I'm not
Okay.
sure why it just, can I share my screen with you?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead. Wait, let me turn that on. Okay, now you should be able to share your screen.
Okay. Can you see my screen yet?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, awesome. So this is what I got so far, and oops, sorry. And somehow it still doesn't render any image. Like, I think so I try it all
All
the
right.
combination.
Can you let me see? Can I take control?
Yes. How can I do? Okay, approve.
Okay. Let's see. Inspect. It's always a good thing to see where is it, what it's looking for. It's looking for it in explore React.js. Okay. What's your IDE? What are you using for IDE?
I'm using the IntelliJ.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so let's say,
So where do you have that? Where are you? Can I see where you are? Where are your images?
oh yeah, here, maybe we can go to explore screen first. And then in explore screen, I think in explore component. So here is what I got. So let's say like the big spaceship image. This is the source that I give it. So we are in this folder explore screen over here.
Yeah.
And I have my image. So I navigated to the A5 folder because that's where I put a lot of my images.
Okay.
Yep. So, and it seems to work fine because IntelliJ doesn't complain about it that cannot find the source,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It found it.
Okay. Can I see that when it's being rendered? Can you go back to the browser?
Yep.
Which one is that one? Oh, is that this one over here?
Yeah, it's a small one that
Okay,
it's supposed to be here. The
can I
spaceship.
take control?
Yep.
Okay, so it's this one, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see. Trying to see where it. I want to see where it thinks it is.
I think I try all of that. I even have more than that, but still doesn't work.
I just want to point out I have exactly the same issue. So
Yeah,
that's
actually, oop. So ideally, you want to use absolute values like this.
oh
See
wait.
that?
Oh wow. Wait, so
So
how does that work? Do you just
yeah,
put
so
in
C starts with a slash instead of a dot.
uh-huh.
Can you go back to your IDE?
Yep. So instead of all of this,
So what
you
happens is that this public is the root. So that's mapped to slash. So if you want public, then you just say that like that. That's public. So slash is mapped to public. That makes sense? So wherever you have, so don't use relative paths because then, every time you move the file, then you need to update the ... whatever, right? As opposed to if it's absolute, you're always from the top level of the directory and then you navigate down.
I see. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you so much. I
Sure.
was having that problem. I didn't know how.
Okay.
So
Yeah, cool.
thank you.
All right.
Can I ask a quick question, Jose?
Sure. What's up?
I got two. They should be fast. First one, is assignment 7 coming out soon?
Yeah, Thursday.
Great, dope. Looking forward to that. Second question, now that we have the exam and we can see the answers and stuff, is there a place where we can request like a regrade or something?
Yeah, let me put
Looks like one of the
Piazza.
answers has like the correct answer might have like an errant underscore character in it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put a new post. Exam 1 regrades. So I'm gonna put exam. So please post exam 1 regrade requests by replying to this post. Okay. So thanks, Jose.
Professor, you're putting that on on Piazza?
Yeah, I'm posting on Piazza and
Oh.
I'm pinning it at the top. So please, if you see something that you want us to take a look at it, please reply there. And if we see that it applies to all the students, we're just going to regrade that particular question for all the students. Okay. Nevertheless, go and be thorough and make sure that you check all the questions and post it there.
Hi, Professor.
Yes. I'm sorry. Are you set? You're okay, Nick?
Yeah, I'm all set.
set.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry. Hi, Professor.
Sure,
Can I
what's up?
share my screen?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's about my midterm exam.
It's about the midterm exam.
Yeah.
Can you please post to that
Oh,
that
no
regrade
problem.
request?
No problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Well, like I just tried exactly what you just showed the previous like students about the images, but that didn't work for Visual Studio.
All right.
Visual-
Did you want to share your screen? Take a look at it.
Yeah. Am I sharing the right screen? Am I sharing this?
Are you sharing? I don't see it yet.
See now?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so like other like there are a lot of other bugs because like I
Right,
don't
okay.
have dots here, but I don't know how to do that. But for the most
Can you
part,
take
like
control?
yes, you can.
Let's see. Okay, so this is still
Well, like yeah, that was that, bro. It's in currently in A5 and images. That's my root folder is A5 and images.
okay, A5. Yeah, it's there. See that?
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And then I have like okay, so like with these dots, like they're meant to be the mid dot thing, but like now with this mid dot, like I don't know what exactly like I'm meant to replace it with, but then like in HTML it was just like that I had that, but then
Yeah, but put a semicolon at the end. No, semicolon. It's
like
right where the colon is.
that.
No, next to the L. Yeah, that.
Okay.
Yeah, they all need semicolons at the end.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I guess And then the last question I have would be, where is it? My last question I have would be this. So like this was to make the this was to make like this value like I guess be highlighted, but then I guess that didn't show right.
Oh, yeah, no, right, that's, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't have embedded, text in there. HTML, you can't have embedded HTML in there.
So then how am I meant to like, I guess, because like if this post itself, like if the two posts have two different like locations for like how
So
this
what I
thing-
would do is that, I would dynamically parse that text. If I find an ampersand or an at, I would dynamically replace it.
Okay, so I guess like yeah. So I just make this its own variable and do that for
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess since it's hard coded, then that'll be fine. Okay, let me just like
But Professor, I have one question. Can we not use double quotes so that this HTML tag will convert in JSON?
What do you mean double quotes? He's already using double quotes. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean after the tags, the HTML tags after the span tag, he have to put double quotes.
Okay, you want to try that?
Okay.
Not sure what you mean.
I think she means oh yeah, sorry. I guess after like text primary, she means like put double quotes instead of single quotes.
You mean here?
No, like before the span tag.
Oh, here?
Yes.
So you mean making this like that? No.
No. Like before the span tag, he have to put double quotes. Yeah, here, yes.
Yeah, but he already has double quotes, so I guess you can make it into a single quote here. He's already using those quotes though.
I'm also basically using the HTML tags in the JSON file.
Yeah, why
and-
don't you post that on Piazza so for other people's to use as an example. Yeah, can you share that with the rest of us and take a look at it?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So take a look at the Abdul Rahman.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, you got it right. Nice.
Yeah. Can you try it? Check it out. What she's posting. I'm
Yeah,
curious too.
I'll check it.
I'm curious too.
Yeah, even I'm curious because I'll save all my issues. So
Yeah.
check yes, and that's basically all my questions. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Good luck.
Hi, Professor.
Yes, sir. I have a small question.
Small questions. What's up?
Yeah. So if I can share my screen.
Eliud Heredia.
Yep. So basically, I have everything done already, and I'm trying to hide the links from the previous assignments. But when I try that, when I created a component for it, but nothing renders. From the old assignments, nothing renders.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a known issue. Because we're
And I
using
know-
the
and one of the TAs posted something on her GitHub, and I followed the instructions, and even if as I've followed instructions.
yeah. Yeah, there we go. So somebody's posting on the chat a possible solution. Static file website when you're using React. Yeah, why don't you take a look at that? Take a look at that. See you ho.
Right,
Yeah, can you try that?
okay, I'll
Let me
take a
know.
look at I'll take a look at it. Thank
right.
you.
Sure.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
I have tried old solution in Piazza about the failed to comply in NetFly, but old solution does not work for me.
What solution?
About the failed to comply to the remote server.
Oh, okay. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, for a moment. So here is my page in the local server. It works fine, but
Can I take a look at it? Can I take a look at your?
okay, I approve that.
Okay, so these are the ones that are failed.
Mhm.
Build command fail to compile. Blah 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 blah. Creating yada yada. Vendor font awesome yada yada yada. Parse error. Syntax error line 1 column 30. Build command error fail. Command fail with exit code 1. Blah 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 blah. Run build. Yada yada yada. Where is your Git repository?
Git repository. Should I open my GitHub?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Sites. Which is the one that you're doing here?
The first one.
First one. Okay. Let's create a new one. Just let's see. So is it in GitHub?
Mhm.
And which one's your repository?
Should be this one.
This one?
Yes.
Blah 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 blah. Master yada 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 yada. Build blah 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 blah. Deploy sites. Yada, 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 yada. See what it says. P1, old block file, yada yada yada. File was created with an old version of npm, blah 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 blah. Metadata must be fetched from registry, yada yada yada. We may need to remove the log file.
Log file. So what is the log file?
If you have a package JSON lock, you have one?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well let's see what this does first. Deprecated, blah 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 blah. Correct. Creating and optimizing.
Oh, the same.
Interesting. Can I see your IDE? Can you go back to your IDE?
Okay. Here.
Okay, let's see. Package log. Okay, so let's remove this. And can you commit this?
Okay. One moment.
Where's your commit?
Here. Just push it to the Git.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh.
Oh no. All right, mate, put it back.
I can do it. I can.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, do a git status. Okay, git commit everything. Yeah, need extra space.
Okay.
Push. Oh, but this is the other. Okay, let's see if this runs. So this should rerun. Oh, thanks, Steven. All right, so this should run again.
Does it rerun automatically?
I think so, right? Then usually when we configure it, it tells you if you want to run it automatically, and
Okay. We need to-
try deploy settings. No, not safe, surviving. Builds active, learn. Okay, looks like it's deploying.
I
I
think
don't know.
it's
I don't know if this is the old build or
still the old error message.
is it the old build? Yeah, but I don't know if this is the old build and it did
Yeah.
it again or. Oh, building. There we go.
Still building. Oh, same thing.
What the heck? Source vendors found awesome. Can you go to the IDE? Where are your? Can you see how you bringing that in?
For the font also.
No, in your where? How are you bringing that into Font Awesome? Can you show me? Where's your vendors? Where's your vendors?
Windows here, right there.
Okay, open that up. Okay, you have Font Awesome in there.
Yes.
Okay, so how are you loading that? Can you show me? Are you doing that in index.js?
I think. I almost.
It must be app. Can you go to app?
Yes.
Bootstrap, blah blah blah. Okay, let's try. Can you comment all those three? Line 5, 6, and 7. See if it's. Oh wait a minute. Can you comment just number 5?
Okay.
Actually, comment 5 and 6. Okay, can you now commit that and deploy it?
Successful.
Did you push it?
Yeah, push it.
It's building. Hello? Are you doing something?
No.
What's going on? Hello?
Do we need just? Oh, okay. Keep going.
Hmm.
See.
Oh, now it's font awesome min. All right, can you comment that out and commit again?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, try that. Let me help someone else meanwhile.
Okay.
Professor, I have like a fairly quick question.
Go ahead. What's up?
I haven't received grades for a 4 or 5, and I've messaged the TA privately on Piazza, and I haven't gotten a response either. Like 6 builds off of 4 and 5, so I would like to have feedback. I was curious about what I should do next.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's on me actually. I have a I didn't have a finished rubric, and so they're a little behind because of me. Yeah, we'll hope to be caught up this week.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Along the same lines, if we notice like a mistake after we've submitted on Canvas, like I know we're supposed to tag the git commit, but I've noticed like you can sometimes, like I submitted an extra thing because I noticed a mistake and they only marked it off like the Canvas amount of lateness. Can you do that? Like, can you just fix it afterward, or like for a next assignment? Since we're not getting feedback along the way, it's kind of hard. You know.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, you can fix it. Of course. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks.
Next.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, Fnu.
Hi. So I have one question regarding assignment 6. Can we use reference our Bootstrap and Font Awesome files that are basically hosted from CDNs? I tried your way that first we have to create one folder vendors and install and download files and import in JavaScript file, but
Yeah.
if possible, can I use a CDN file instead?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Of course. Yes. You can declare them in your index.html, and they will be available for everybody there. It's just more convenient for when you're developing to have them copied in your local IDE. But yeah, for deployment, for production, definitely it's better to use CDNs.
Okay, so one more question. So in JavaScript files, I did not have to import my Font Awesome and Bootstrap files. Only just in index.html, I have to just link those references, right?
I'm sorry. Say again.
So I basically followed your way to import in JavaScript files. So
Import what?
had the Bootstrap and Font Awesome files.
Oh, yeah, right. You do it only once, right, at the beginning?
Yeah, okay. So I have to do in the index.html files.
Right, correct.
Sounds good. Thank you, Professor.
Sure.
Thank you, Professor. I already solved it.
Oh, you solved it? Oh, it's awesome. Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Professor. I have a question from assignment 6. So when I run the program, like my page renders fine, but when I try to refresh it, then all the formatting effects are lost.
Can I take a look?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this is my page, and if I press the refresh button, so it turns into this.
What? What
Yeah.
the?
And if I press back, then also like something is happening.
Whoa, that's weird. What? My guess is that you are using a style sheet for one, but not the other.
Okay.
So, oh wait, no, but all right, so how do you go back to the original?
I'll run
You
it again.
You have to run it. Okay, run it. Okay, don't do anything. Wait.
Actually, I'll close it and then run it.
Okay, so when you go to build, right? Does that work?
Yes.
Okay, so this works. Wait a minute. Don't touch anything. Inspect. The Explorer. Do you have any other CSS here?
No, I don't have any CSS file. I had actually pasted my CSS in the index.css file.
And where do you load the index.css? I don't see you loading it at all. Do you load it?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when so this breaks, right? So it's this one, span. Load breaks. What the heck? So can we run it again?
Yeah.
Can you go back and run it again?
Yeah.
So don't stop it. Go here.
But if I don't stop it, then it shows
No,
the
no,
same
yeah, no,
page.
just go to the terminal down below.
Yeah.
The terminal. And say, oh, what's running here? Wait, how'd you run it? Oh, from there? Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do that. Wait. Can you run it from here?
Or I think I am actually,
You know where the directory is?
yeah, I know.
No, yeah. Wait, don't you have to go up one directory? Not here, no? yeah, do an npm start. Are you sure it's here? Yeah, okay, npm start here. Yeah, it's gonna ask you if you want to start it in a different port. Say yes. Okay, let me play around with it just a second. Just want to see the styling. What's the difference? So you have this fan. We have this fan. Okay, I'm going between the two. Let's see what is different. This one's broken.
Is it because of the CSS
Ooh,
file
what's
that I'm
this? Wait a
importing?
minute. This one doesn't have an icon? Wait, this one has the icon right there,
Yeah.
but this one doesn't. Oh, wait, open it. Oh, there it is. Sorry. What the heck? Let's
I'll
compare.
also check my index.html. I'm
Oh, see,
unsure if
that's it's not. It's different. This is doing explore.css, and this one doesn't have explore CSS. See that?
yeah.
This one has explore, and this one doesn't. So it must be that when you get to explore, when you're here, you have explore.css, but here you don't. Why not? Okay, so here you're loading it and it works. All right, can you see, show me where you load explore.css?
Yes.
Oh,
Here.
no. Comment that out. No, just select the line and do commands. Yeah, there we go. Go to explore screen. And go to index.js. Okay, so where is that explore.js CSS?
That is inside here in assignment 5.
Yeah,
But I also pasted everything here inside
yeah, but
index.css.
you're not importing index.css, are you?
No.
Right. Oh well, I mean, we could do that. Go to index.js and import it. Not that one. The go down in index.js right there and import index.css. Let's see if that fixes it. /. Okay. Reload the broken one. No, don't rerun it. Go back and reload the broken one. Not that one. The other one. Not that one. The one on the left. Yeah, that one. Reload it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yay. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Professor, I have another question. This is a funny question on my screen.
Sure. What's up?
Like, I'm not really sure why. But like basically like the post summary list is like repeating its values. And I'm trying to like find out like why it's repeating its values compared to like the who to follow, which isn't repeating its values. And I can't really like maybe I'm missing something, but like I'm just
where? Okay, can you show me the code that you think it's repeating values?
this.
The post summary item.
Yeah, it's repeating this value constantly.
Can you show me? Where do you see that it's repeating?
Oh, here.
Oh, okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then the same page here.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to. Okay. So this is the item, right? There's a
Yeah.
list. Where's the list for this?
This is a list here.
Okay. And what's post.json? Can I see post.json?
This.
Okay. There's 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's doing 4 of them. And I'm guessing that it's iterating over this, right? 4
Mhm.
times, but I bet you're not passing the data in there. All right, so go to the list, and you are passing posts. Is it called posts? No, it can't be. It has to be singular, no? So
Or
in line
like,
10, go in line 10. Line 10, see it says post. Shouldn't that be singular?
well, I just like, I guess I'm not really sure. I just use the same like wording naming for like the whole thing.
Yeah, no, but I mean, can you go to post summary item JS, the next one? See, you see, it's singular, line 3.
Oh, it's post. Oh,
So that should be post, not posts, right? There we go.
oh. Oh, wow. Haha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, wow. I guess I didn't understand that part well. And I guess, oh yeah, I'm not, well, like I used to modify my, I modified this part so the underline doesn't show. And basically like, I'm not personally, I'm not really sure why it doesn't show for this, but it shows for the rest.
Can I see where you render that?
That should be post list, right?
Well, I mean, we could do it on the browser. Can you go back to the browser?
Okay.
And can you right click on the one that's no, not that one. I mean, you want the link or you don't want the link?
I don't want the link.
Yeah. Okay. So so inspect the one that has the link. Okay. So click, yeah, that hyperlink. Go to see on the right hand side where it says text decoration underline.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you need to remove that or say none. So go see what yeah, override the underline, click on underline. Yeah, type none. Enter. There we go. See that?
Yeah, but then
So you have to override that if you right in your own CSS file.
okay.
Right
In that
in your
case, sorry for cutting you off. You're about to say?
if you go to your index.css, if you load it down below on the left hand side, I mean, I don't know where you load your CSS stuff.
Since this is the home screen, that should be here. And then
I would put it in somewhere where it's everywhere because you don't want that. You don't want the underline ever. I don't think. So
well,
I would put
true.
it in somewhere more high up level. Maybe like an index.css. Like, can I see your index.js, the top level most? All right, go all the way down. Yeah, okay, go right there. Exactly. Open up index.js first. Yeah, go. Are you even loading index? Yeah, you are. Okay, so you can do it in index.css. Go in there.
Okay.
Yeah, in here, do a. No. What are you doing?
I want to just get it from here.
Oh, you have it. You already
Yeah, I
have it.
had it in my home, but like I don't. I was
Yeah.
confused by
Okay,
why that
so
was
yeah,
there.
copy that. Copy that. Put it in here. Wait, text decoration none. Blah 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 blah. I think so. I think that's all set. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, it does work. I guess.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you advise us to put all our like, I guess CSS files in
Well, no,
here
I mean,
then?
you could put it more closely to what you need, right? But so, you know, depending on the order in which things are declared, you might need to put it at a higher level.
Oh, okay. I guess that explains a lot of my errors because like even this, the padding wasn't working and a couple of other things. I'll just move most of them to the index then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fixes all my errors. Thank you. Yes, thank
Awesome.
you so much.
All right,
Have a
sure.
wonderful
Bye.
night. Thank you so much. Bye.
Take care.
Good night. Take care.
Good night. Bye. Hi,
Hello.
Nishta.
Hi, Professor. So
Hi,
I
what's
have
up?
clicked out. Let me just share my screen.
Yep.
Can you see it?
Yes.
So this is my A6. A6 is working fine. The only problem is with the links that I have down below. So, okay, so this is my Netlify.
Yeah, somebody was suggesting a hyperlink, a Stack Overflow to fix that on the chat.
Okay, actually all my links, other links work, only this backlink doesn't work. I tried with public URL also.
What does that where does it want to go?
It goes to /A6. And if you see /A6 here also doesn't render anything. Although my practice is at /A6. So if I go to hello and if I go to practice, I think that if I go to just A6 also, it should. Oh, okay. I think I just
Yeah,
saw
it
it.
must be. Yeah, it must be nothing that's mapped to it, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah. I thought I mapped it to A6 also, but I think I did not. I just solved it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.